Hi guys, how are you doing? First of all, my name is Berglind. I'm the sales director of the MICE department here at the amazing DMC. I've been doing this for probably, I think I have to say about 20 years now. I have to face that fact that we're getting into 20 years. And Iceland is a very diverse MICE destination. So, I'm just going to show you a presentation that I have. It is let's see, there's some chat. Sabrina, you taking a look at that? Some
Yes, I am looking at the chats.
Okay, thank you. So, so Iceland is a very diverse MICE destination, and what I'm giving you in my presentation is just a window into the destination. It is not the entire everything we can do. Is just to give you an idea. Obviously, we love to tailor make the programs to the clients that you have, but again, like any other destination, there are some highlights that are quite often used when coming to Iceland. But let's start. We are the land of ice and fire, and the reason I start with my lovely volcano there in the front is that the news about the volcano eruption in Iceland have been, let's say, a little bit exaggerated in the news in Europe. For us, volcano eruptions are a little bit like the weather. We have experts that monitor this. Safety is always number one, and we always can predict like when the volcanoes are about to erupt, what's happening. So they have not been in locations that have been affecting our groups at all whatsoever, and in some cases there have been locations that we actually have been able to go and show people the new lava, and we have not had a group at the same time as we have actually had an eruption, but we've taken them to show them a brand new lava, and it has been quite fun. But again, the news has been a little bit exaggerated, let's say. But then a little bit more about Iceland and where we are located. We are a small island in the Atlantic, but only about 3 hours from most airports in Germany. So you can see this is the route map for Iceland there, which is our local carrier. Obviously, we have a lot of other carriers as well that come, but you can see Frankfurt, Munich, and a lot of other German destinations with direct flights, and they're normally around 3 hours to get here. So we have a lot of easier connections than a lot of people think. And then we have my no, we're not that dark slide. So it comes often up because we are an island in the Atlantic that we must be very dark. And yes, December is a little bit dark, but that's not incentive month anyhow. But you can see we have plenty of daylight. Most of our incentive groups are coming in April, May, and June, and then again in September and October. Those are our ideal incentive months. Obviously, we can take groups all year round, but if you're coming in January, February, March, these are our winter months, and weather can be a little bit more unpredictable. So if you have a client that's willing to do a little bit of adventure and try something new, and is willing to have a plan A, plan B, and up to plan Z, those are awesome months to come, because Iceland is a beautiful winter destination. But we have to take care of making sure we have a plan B and C. Our population is only about 375,000, which is very good, because that makes it easy for me because I know everyone. And most of the population actually lives in Reykjavik. You can see we have almost 220,000 of those 375,000 living in the capital area. And that also makes the fact that Iceland is a nature destination. This is why you come to Iceland. This is why you come to experience. You come to see a unique nature and something completely different. Saying that though, this is Gísir in Haukadalur, one of those hot water springs that actually erupts, and he erupts every 5 to 7 minutes. And this is one of the highlights of people that come. So people quite often do come to Iceland because of the nature setup. But the phrase "boys in the toys" was also made for Iceland. We have a lot of diverse activity to offer your groups, and these can easily be tailor-made depending on the group that you have. So here you can see some slides of our modified super trucks. You can see they have about 44 to 46-inch tires, and they're modified to get into the highlands and onto the glaciers. And this, I would say, is a very genuine Icelandic activity. I often get like the question, like, can we do dog sledding? And technically, yes, I have one supplier that can take about 4 people dog sledding at a time, but that is not an Icelandic activity. I would never turn around to my husband or to my family and go, hey, shall we go dog sledding this weekend? Because that's just not what we do. But Icelanders will modify their cars and they will travel into the highlands. We go camping a lot. We explore the nature a lot, and we work a lot with nature. And that is why I feel like this is a much more authentic experience in Iceland, going to explore and be out in nature, experience the scenery. One of the ways we do that, let me flip over, is by snowmobiling on our glaciers. Now, snowmobiling on glaciers is doable all year round. Obviously, the glacier is a little bit of a living, breathing beast. In the wintertime, it is all snowy and fluffy, and it has that winter experience in it. And in the summertime, the snow melts. And in September and October, we have more of an blue ice experience. But we can do snowmobiling all year round on the glaciers. And it is something, we are the only destination in the world. I Google this at least 2 or 3 times a year. We are the only destination in the world that can offer snowmobiling on glaciers. You can do snowmobiling in a lot of locations, but doing it on a glacier is something quite unique. And also, I think, I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm born and raised in Iceland. But glaciers have a special type of magic to them. It is just the energy that you get from being on a glacier, the experience, just the white tundra. It's a unique experience. And every time I get people up there, just the experience that they have, being on the glacier, seeing how they are and how they work, that's quite unique. There's not a lot of locations in the world that can actually go up to a glacier. So that is one of the best part of my job. Other activities that we can do, and we have quite a lot of different types of activities. These are, for example, buggy cars. They can be moved around depending on where the group is going. This group is going into the highland. You can see the highland is like a black desert in the middle. So this is like more in the middle of the country. And it kind of gives you just the contrast. The reason why this desert exists is because thousands of years ago, it was underneath glaciers. And it takes the ground about 100-something years just to grow a little bit of moss and a little bit of grass after the glacier leaves. So you can just see how powerful nature is. And when you drive in the highlands, you can actually see like big boulders around, and the boulders are there because the glaciers moved them hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So it's just an big wow experience of nature and how powerful nature are when it comes to Iceland. Then, of course, one of the fun activities we can do in the summertime are the river rafting experience. So this is river rafting in glacier rivers. It is only about 2 on the scale. The scale is 1 to 5, depending on how dangerous it is. 5 is most dangerous. This river is about 2, but it's beautiful, scenic, and it's a glacial river. So that has been a very popular activity as well. And then one of my favorite activities is always ATVing on the Black Sandy Beach. So it gives you, just if you look at the activity that we were looking at just there, this is just a sample of the activities. I'm going to show you some more, but it gives you a small idea. We're going from the glaciers, which is the ice part of Iceland. Then we go like further down, and then we're ending up in the Black Sandy Beaches. And the Black Sandy Beaches are black because of the ash coming from the volcano. So it gives you the fire and ice sides of Iceland very easily. And then we're coming a little bit into the extreme activities, right? So snorkeling and diving is very popular over the place, but you always think about this activity in a more warm location. Now, I do agree, snorkeling and diving in Iceland is a little bit crazy, but it is always going to be cold. The water is about 4 degrees, but this is Silra. This is in our national park in Thingvellir, and this is one of the top 10 locations in the world to go snorkeling and diving. So if you actually like that, this is one of the best destinations to do that. And we've been offering this quite often as an optional activity for our groups. And the guests that actually do take part in this, they say it's once in a lifetime experience. It's something they like. They've snorkeled and dived all over the world, but this is very unique. And then to show you a little bit more of my lava experiences. So about 5,500 years ago, we had like glowing magma running through these tunnels. Like you had the volcano eruptions and you had the magma flowing through this, and it kind of, the top shelf kind of gets cooler first, and it hardens on top. And then, of course, when the volcano eruption stops, the tunnels, they empty themselves out. And then it takes about a few thousand years to be hard enough for us to enter them. So this is about 5,500 years ago. So everything that is supposed to fall down has already fallen down, and these caves are very safe to enter. And they're very different from the caves you find in Europe because this is pure magma. And you can see just the volcano eruption. You can see the layers of the tunnels, and it is just. Again, I mean, and of course, I'm not partial. Of course, this is my destination, and these are my suppliers and the adventures we offer. But this is something that again gives people that insight into nature, and it just makes it so much more fun. And just the feedback we often get from our groups is just how much people are willing to work harder on protecting nature once they've seen all that kind of experiences. So that's the wonderful feedback that we had from this. And this can be privatized. We can have some drinks in there. I would not recommend music because the acoustics in caves are not very good, but we can have some private events there, no problem for groups. But then again, coming back to why people come to Iceland. Again, it is the nature and because they're coming for something spectacular. So the Northern Lights we have in the wintertime. The season for them are from October to April. Technically, obviously, you have Northern Lights all year round, but because of the daylight in Iceland, you don't see them in the summertime. Although it has happened, we have seen them in August. I had a big group a couple of years ago that was here on 2nd of September, and they were having the gala dinner downtown Reykjavik in Harpa, and they just walked out of Harpa and had beautiful Northern Lights. So, you know, even though the high season is October to April, obviously, you know, if you're extremely lucky, you can see them other seasons. But this is a natural phenomenon. So I always put it in the fact that this is something we can never guarantee. But we can always make the program in the way that there's more of a chance for us to see them. And we have excellent guides. There are Northern Light hunters that have apps and tons of experience for years and years and years. And when we do the Northern Light hunt, we will start, you know, either at the location that is outside of the city, like we have dinner in a restaurant that is not in the city, and we do the hunt on the way back, or we leave for the hunt from the city. And I cannot tell you beforehand where we will go. That would be will be depending on the Northern Light hunter that will be taking us out that night. So it's just one of those things that is unique and magical and always wonderful, but one of those things we cannot guarantee. And then just to talk a little bit more about nature, Iceland is the country of waterfalls. We have somewhere around, I don't remember how many thousands of waterfalls we have. I think it's around 3,000, a lot of waterfalls. And that is something that's always built into our programs. This is Gullfoss. This is one of our biggest ones in the south of Iceland, and one of the famous ones that's part of the Golden Circle experience. And it comes again to the fact that, like, people talk about not doing the typical tourist thing, but then again, they do want to do the Golden Circle because that is kind of the brand that is very famous for Iceland. So what we try to do is to do it in a little bit of a different way. So we try to add into that experience some kind of, hold on, some kind of adventure. We try to add some kind of a wow factor that is unique to your group and cannot be done as a regular tourist. We try to do something unique and fun for them. I mean, these are the glacier buffets. They are a very unique experience. I say food never tastes as good as it does on the glaciers. And as I said, we do that a lot, especially in April to June, because then we have the glacier being very snowy and very fluffy, and then the glacier buffets can look very beautiful. And then, of course, if we can throw in a Viking, we will throw in a Viking, because why not? But then one of the luxury parts about living in Iceland is the geothermal hot water. So this is Sky Lagoon. You can see on the slide a little bit in the end there, you can see the city. That is Reykjavik, seen from there. So this is one of the newest additions to the lagoons. It is located basically in Reykjavik, and it's only 15 minutes from downtown. And it has a beautiful 7-step ritual that really gives you that, connection to Icelandic bathing culture. So because we have all this beautiful hot water, we go swimming every day. Like we will go swimming in a snowstorm. Our swimming pools are quite elevated to most swimming pools in other locations in the world because we have so much hot water. So in regular swimming pools, you will find a swimming pool. You will find 2 or 3 different hot tubs, and most often you will find either a sauna or steam bath or something. So our bathing culture is quite rich, and we go, as I say, we go swimming like in December in a snowstorm. We always go swimming, and the 7-step ritual is just one of those really nice, inclusive way to show you what it is, and get to know our bathing culture. And of course, because the water is about 39 degrees Celsius, it is just such a fun experience to go and explore. And then, of course, we have the very famous Blue Lagoon that most people know about. And then, of course, depending on your group, we have tons of other small locations. The location next to the Blue Lagoon over there is called the Giljaböf. It's a little bit off the beaten track. So it is always a conversation between us. You know your client, or you know my destination. You have a client that says, "Oh, we're very adventurous. We want to do something out of the box." But you come and tell me and say, they kind of are more in a box people, but like to think they're adventurous. So then we can find locations like Giljaböf that's off the beaten track, a little bit different, but still in a very controlled and easy, safe way. And then, of course, if you have groups that are really, truly adventurous, we can take them into just hot water springs that there's nothing around them, and they can be really adventurous if you like to. So it all just depends on the information that you give us, like how adventurous your client is, like how we can, make sure he has the best possible experience. Let me see. So venues. This is another way that Iceland is unique. This comes down to it again, like in Germany and all over Europe, you will find castles and mansions and so on. And we don't have that. We don't have that history, and we don't have that culture. So I love the fact that we can use very different venues to create something unique in Iceland. So this is a location called Aurora Base Camp. It is located about 20-25 minutes from downtown Reykjavik. It is in the middle of the lava field. And this picture is not this picture, but another picture I'll show you, is taken around midnight, because in the summertime, or in May and June, we almost have 24-hour daylight. So then you're having a completely different experience in this beautiful scenery. And this can be rented out privately and made into a gala venue. The picture on the top, from my side, right corner, is taken at midnight in June. So you can see it's still very bright. But the reason why these venues are so much fun is because you will have groups that have done everything. They have done the luxury, wow, gala experiences all over beautiful locations, beach dinners, outdoor dinners, and all of that. So this is again a little bit unique and a little bit different, and it can be tailor-made to whatever group that you have and the theme that you want. Just the only thing I'm careful about is not framing that this is not a gala dinner, because gala dinner means that all the ladies will be wearing the beautiful dresses and high heels. The lava field is not necessarily the best place for that. But adventure dinner, our reward dinners, this is the ideal location. And it just again breaks out a little bit the stereotype of those dinners. Another beautiful venue that we have is Perlan. You can see that restaurant on top of the hot water towers there. So that restaurant actually can spin. So it does the whole circle in about an hour. It takes about 200 people easily, and it has fantastic view over the city. So just a little bit gives you a different vibe. But also, if you have larger groups, we have actually rented out, because in the hot water tanks now we have a museum. So we can actually rent out the entire museum and kind of have it like a standing dinner in the entire venue. So we have often have groups that are larger than that, maybe about 500 to 600 people in the entire venue. So that has actually been quite fun. And then I'm going to show you one of my favorite venues. This is the Whale Museum. So the Whale Museum actually has a life-size versions of all the whales you can find in Iceland. Well, not in Iceland, or in the ocean around Iceland. And the museum itself is just beautiful to start with, and you just need to add in a couple of tables and chairs to make it into honestly a magical venue. And the feedback we've gotten from groups that have been there have been fantastic. So it's just like these are venues that we can use that are easy to use them, and this give us a great breakout from the norm. But there will always be that client, and obviously we always have to make sure the client is happy. There will always be the client that wants their traditional gala and awards kind of setup. And we definitely have venues to use for that as well. We have quite a few of them, but this is one of the ones we use quite a lot. So I just wanted to show you versions of this venue. So this is Harpa, our music and conference hall. It is located downtown Reykjavik, and with just, as you can see, a stunning work of art, the house itself. It has different types of rooms that we can dress and cater depending on what you're looking for. Here we had a very classical gala event where the client wanted a very what's the best word for it? Well, fancy, maybe is the best word for it. It was a very high-end, fancy night where everyone were wearing the best outfits, and they had awards. And because it is the home of the symphony, we had the symphony playing there as well. And this is the same room. Here we had a group that the company turned 35, and they just wanted a big party and having fun, and so then it was a very different type of setup in the same room. But the room itself has the house itself again has also different rooms that have this fantastic view over the city. So this gives you an idea. So if you have that client that still wants to go the very classical routes, that can easily be done as well. But my favorite part of talking about Iceland is that Iceland is a food destination. Now, this is not, unfortunately, we don't market ourselves as a food destination because a lot of Icelanders are just used to it and don't actually see the quality of the food that we have, and seeing how we can cater to big groups and small groups and always give them fantastic food. But as part of my job, it's such a game changer that I can relax in the evening knowing that the food that's going to be served to your group is going to be fantastic. Most of it is obviously we are a very fishy and lamb destination, and I know Germans quite often don't like lamb. Well, and not just Germans, like it's quite European that they don't like lamb. But the Icelandic lamb is very different. But again, we can cater to whatever it is the group is looking for. But the food here is always good, very good. And it comes again down to the fact that like I'm never going to tell you Iceland is a cheap destination. But my goal and what I do here is to make sure you get quality for like value for your money. And the food is always going to be very good quality. And it doesn't matter if you have a group of 20 people or you have 200. As I say, that's a luxury part of my job to know that like when we're doing the dinners, lunches, welcomes along the way, the food is always going to be a very good standard. There's a lot, we always worry about a lot of things when we have our groups. Know that the food is good is a relief. So, because we're an island in the Atlantic, we don't have any Icelandic wines, but we have a lot of local breweries. And that has actually been very, very exciting growth in this for the last maybe, let's say about 7-8 years in the microbreweries. So we have done a lot of fun tastings. Now, to be honest though, you can do beer tastings all over the world. What I think is always more fun is when you go to the brewery, go and get the beers, or get the drinks from the distilleries, because we have a lot of Icelandic distilleries as well. And you grab the drinks and you go out to nature and you have some tasting out in nature, because that is why you come to Iceland. You're coming to do something a little bit different and be out in nature, and nothing tastes as good as that when it's in either on the black sandy beach or on the glaciers. Let me see. So now I am moving a little bit into my hotels. So we have a lot of good hotels in Iceland. And I'm just showing you a little bit of it to give you an idea of my hotels. My hotels are Scandinavian. We are Scandinavian, so our hotels are very Scandinavian. They're very minimalistic, but they're also very good, and they have everything that you actually need. This is Hotel Geysir, and if you look in the corner over there, you can see the steam, and the steam is coming from the area where we had the Geysir erupting on my third slide or something like that. So the Geysir Hotel is located about 2 hours from the Keflavik Airport. And I will always say, obviously your client is king, and whatever your client wants, we'll do. But my recommendation will always be start 1 or 2 nights outside in the countryside and then move to Reykjavik. The reason I say this is because most every location in the world is more urban than Iceland, right? You will have cities and towns. I mean, we're 375,000 people, the entire population of Iceland, including immigrants. Like all of us is 300. Trust me, we count every single person. So just to get people out in nature, getting them to Hotel Geysir, where there's almost nothing there, the feedback is always, oh my God, I can't believe they're like where we are. Like taking them to the countryside always gives them that, wow, we have arrived in Iceland. Obviously, Reykjavik, there's nothing wrong with being in Reykjavik and staying there the entire time, but it just, the feedback has always been, I can't believe you were here when we start in the countryside. And Hotel Geysir, again, is a fabulous location. And because about 98% of people that come to Iceland will go to the Geysir area, but by 5 o'clock, most of those clients will have gone to Reykjavik, and we're not going to have the area private, but we're going to have it a little bit more exclusively than we would at 2 o'clock when everyone else is there. So it just gives you an idea why, staying outside the countryside is ideal. And you can see it's a beautiful hotel, beautiful design, but, minimalistic. This is then the Iron Adventure Hotel. They're actually adding to their rooms right now. So they're up by end of this summer. And this is one of those beautiful nature-based hotels. You can see the location is stunning. And then we're again coming. It's beautiful and everything you need. And
your connection is a little bit weak.
Hotels.
say something again, Berglind?
You still hear me? Hello.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
can
still
hear
there?
you.
Okay.
But yeah, we're there.
Good.
Just it's
Yeah.
sometimes you're stuck.
Okay, no problem. So this is Hotel Reykjavik Saga. So we have quite a lot of new hotels in Reykjavik. Hotel Reykjavik Saga is one of them. It has a great location downtown, and it is a little bit more golden than most of my hotels. Hold on. And it's a very beautiful property that we quite often use. Then we have, for example, the canopy, the Hilton canopy. So this is one of the first hotels to open up in the world as a canopy. And what this hotel also has is that they have that connection to Iceland, like you feel that you're waking up in the destination. And I always love that about hotels, when you really know where you are, when you're staying there. So obviously this is not the entire list of my hotels in Reykjavik or in the countryside. It's just to give you a little bit of a look into how my hotels are. My 4-star hotels are very good and very competitive for incentive groups. I have 2 5-star hotels, and I'm going to show them to you. Most of the times my groups don't have the budget for it, but it's good for you to know if you have clients that really insist on having a 5-star hotel. So we have the Marriott Edition Hotel, which is a 5-star hotel, 250 rooms, downtown Reykjavik. We were a little bit worried when they were building it, like how, because it's a big chain, not Icelandic, so we were kind of, how is it gonna connect to Iceland? But they actually have very nice designs and very Icelandic themes. So it does again have that connection that you really feel like you're waking up in Iceland. And then we have the Blue Lagoon Retreat. It has 63 suites. It's a stunning hotel by the Blue Lagoon, and it's a very unique property. But again, sometimes a little bit out of our price range. But it's good for you guys to know that it's there. So that was my presentation, giving you a little bit of a glimpse into Iceland. Are there any questions or anything more I can show you? Any more details that you need?
Thank you, Berglind. I don't know, maybe you can, I don't know if you can tell us what would you say is the best travel period, as of course the daylight you said is in July, August the best, and price wise in comparison?
That again, so like April and May are months that are not heavily, then we don't have a lot of FIT clients there. So then we always get better prices. Like July and August, obviously are lovely months, there are summer months, but then we have a lot of FIT clients here, and then the hotel prices are always going to be a little bit different. September kind of is getting into the high season as well. So September prices are definitely higher than April, May, but October prices then again are getting, are very good.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know, anyone else? Any questions? Feel free. Berglind is here now.
Yeah. I tried this to give you a glimpse into what Iceland can offer. But this is by no means everything we can do. This is just a little bit of a glimpse, and this is just a glimpse of what we can do in the kind of the south part of Iceland. Obviously, depending on your client, if you have automotive clients, we have a lot of car launches, a lot of driving experiences, a lot of those things that we can do. Obviously, we are a very nature-based destination. Nature is very important to us. So all my suppliers, everyone we work with, always work with the idea of do no harm, leave the locations better when you leave than when you found them. So that's always very important for us. So we always try to talk about like the green initiative in everything. For example, for a lot of years, I was always telling people the reusable water bottles. because we have basically the best water in the world. And if you ever want to get people to drink from water bottles, you should do it here. Now, because water bottles have been around now for quite a long time, I tell people just bring the water bottles you gave your clients or your staff like 3 years ago. They'll tell them to bring them, to use them, because they're obviously not environmentally friendly if you get new ones every year. So that is one of those things that we are, and that's one of the things that is so much fun working with our suppliers. Is this is not something that we're kind of forcing or doing. This is kind of how we think, like us because we are so depending on nature, we're depending on weather, we're depending on all, we can't survive in this country without thinking about nature and thinking about how we're living things. So this is one of the luxury things now that people are always coming up with, like, how do we carbon neutral, or how do we, do things when they travel to Iceland? Because obviously you need to come with the flights. That's the only way for you guys to come here. Well, you can take a boat, but it probably takes a couple of days to get here. So this is one of the things that really is a good thing about Iceland, even though we don't necessarily always have it in a huge system. This is just how we think as a country, and because we're a volcanic island, all our power is either hydro power, or so it's powered by the hot water, or it's powered by the waterfalls. So not the waterfalls, by the power plants. So our energy is very green to start with. So that's just one of those things that often come up, and it's good for you guys to know.
Yeah, thank you. And I think you will send the presentation to the clients now who joined as well, the webinar, or if you need any samples or whatever, just send Berglind a note or to us. And yeah, if nobody has any more questions, I would say happy day to you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Berglind. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Nice to see you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.